man, I almost forgot to do the Truth Tuesday intro. Hey, everybody, welcome.
I did mine. I was very, very proud of myself.
Montgomery was first. All right. Warriors third.
Hey, Jimmy.
Well,
Gloria's here too.
there's quite a few old
Filthy.
Phil's here.
Flava Flav. Stephen Tyrell.
Well, you guys, welcome. There's a lot I wanted to go over today. We talked about the Merchant of Death.
Yes.
And I can play you something that'll make you so sad.
Okay.
Well, there's things
Merry Christmas.
There's things that Russia is doing that America has become a shining example of the downfall of an empire and a civilization. And
like Rome fell.
Like everyone fell. I've told you this. Everybody, Rome, Greece, every single. It's like it's so textbook, and that's what you don't learn from history. You can look at the fall of all of them, and there's a pattern. It's in the art. It's in the politics.
No, I didn't. I had never put this all together till you brought this up, but it is very true. And it all goes back to how you treat your children. That's the big trigger.
Right.
You can see it in how they treat the children.
And we thought it was like during the 80s when we did gender bending, and girls kind of looked more butches, and guys looked more, I thought they looked tough. I thought, dude, I swear to God.
Oh, when you wore your eyeliner?
When I was 14.
Yeah.
I was also 6 foot, 1 and 190 pounds when I had a beard, but I wore a fishnet sleeveless shirt, a pink tiger bandana.
And the boys had all that long hair.
Spiked like S&M looking wristbands and around my throat. And I thought it looked tough. So tough. And I remember like my kids up here just like, why are you so gay? And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, Dad, you look 100% gay. It's a baby blue sleeveless t-shirt. You're wearing a hot pink bandana. And I'm like, yeah, that's...
Well, and the girls, it was more... What, the 90s, early 90s with the Doc Martens and
the super short hair, wearing like shoulder pads.
That was 80s,
wearing suit jackets. Yeah, that was like that's when people start saying, "Oh, this is the fall. This is the fall of it." Look, now. It's very much different. It is very much more in the open. I mean, and that's one of the things that's a big issue. I didn't want to even get into this, but you're talking about like a transgender, or what you call them, she-males. A lot. A lot. And here I watched a comedian on this, and it was very surprising to me because he said he was homophobic, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about? Because these are like super liberals," and he was like, man, I was doing a show in Thailand. And they got all these lady boys, these like all these transgenders. They're hot. They are super, super hot. He goes, and I'm like attracted to them, And then if you're gonna do, anyway, what's the difference? And then the guy's like, yeah, man. He goes, this is just a packaging, bro. It's just, why are you paying for the box? There's no difference. He's like, right. And if I'm already attracted to this person, not knowing, what's down there. And if I don't, then I'm homophobic. And I'm not homophobic. I don't want to be homophobic. So I was like, yeah, man, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this. And this was a hot, lady person. We go to my hotel room, open the door. She walks in, and my legs didn't work. I couldn't do it. I couldn't walk in my own hotel room, man. And everyone's laughing. He goes, so I'm homophobic. Everyone's like, no, you're not. He goes, no, I think I am, man, because I couldn't do it. And he said, I couldn't do it because of that. And there was no difference except for that. So obviously I'm homophobic, and I just, it's the way it is. I can't help it. And I was like, wow, that's very,
Well, I was watching a video about I don't know if you've seen the interviews with I believe he's a Marine, but he is former transgender, and now he's transitioning back to a male. And he talks about how he's suing the medical industry
yeah,
because he said it used to be considered a mental illness to have like body
yes,
dysmorphia or whatever. And then at some point it switched over. And now if you go in to talk to a doctor about feeling that way, they automatically just start pumping you full of
right. And
hormones
I
and
think
switching you over.
that's the detriment to it, because if you look at just basic homosexuality, I think it was still illegal in Britain till the 90s, maybe early 2000s. Seriously, it was still
Well,
illegal.
and think about what they're doing to children with that. If they're
But
like,
hold on, to get to where it was legal, just where it's not, it's a Seinfeld episode. Like, now there's anything wrong with that. Just to get to that point took decades. Like from
mhm,
the late 50s, early 60s to where it was somewhat okay. I mean, Tricky Dicky, uh, Nixon went to, or I think it was Nixon went to Bohemian Grove, and he was like, "It's great, it's very
they all
interesting and
went.
cool, but
Yeah.
I don't like the fag stuff." He said that. That's a quote from him. So starting at that time, the late 50s, early 60s, all the way up till the 90s, even the 90s, until early 2000s, when it was completely acceptable. So you're talking like 40 or 50 years. Jump to like literally 10 to where now, where we're at now. Like you're talking about, you go in there and they pump you full, and it's like brave, and you got to do this. It's
Yeah.
so fast that
And parents are like
people haven't got used to it to where now.
virtue signaling by taking their kids. And I don't know.
But
It's
now
insane.
where there's a backlash, there's so many idiot 14-year-olds who are doing it, and then
Hmm.
their idiot 16-year-olds like, whoa, I don't want this. This isn't.
Hmm.
What do I do? And they're like, well, you fucking kid,
You're
it's not.
chemically
It's not
castrated.
like dyeing
Yeah.
your hair.
Right.
Oh, this is terrible. It's your fault. And that's another thing. You've made them to where it's not their fault. It's your fault. It's society's. You
Hmm.
did it, and then allowing them to have this decision, and then just giving them a year
Right.
to figure it out.
They
It's
can't drive a car. They can't even consent to sex, but they can. You're saying that they have the mental capability of
not even that. That's
deciding
a basic thing. No one's ever said that. If you
what
can't consent to sex, why do you have any consent in agreeing
to
to
changing
about it?
your
That's
gender.
what you're
Yeah.
going to use. So if you can't use it, maybe you shouldn't be able to mess
Swapping it
with it
out for something.
until
Yeah.
then. You know,
Yeah.
um,
I think definitely, I mean, the adult decision part should be a minimum
yeah.
of a barrier to entry. I mean, that's just
You can't buy a penis if you're a
insane.
girl until you can buy a beer.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find this real quick before I go into my stuff.
What do you think about the whole Twitter files thing, the way the method in which they're doling it out versus, you know, quite a while ago they dumped WikiLeaks, and I think it was too much volume at once for people because a lot of it's out there, but people don't look at it because there was so much. I know when I first found out about WikiLeaks and I tried to like go through the killer emails and all that stuff, and it was like, where do I even start? And there was just such a volume of information that it was really overwhelming. And I think a lot of it got lost on people.
Well, I
And
think a lot
now
of it's being, just suppressed.
the way this Twitter files is being like kind of dripped out on people, I think is way more effective. What do you think?
I think it is. It is. You know, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. It's number one because it's an interview he did with RT, so that's blocked. Only way I saw it was a. Wait, here it is. I think I got it. Let me see here. I'm telling you, when you hear what this guy says, it's gonna make you. It's gonna make you pissed. Okay, here we go. I got it. Tell me if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
Oh, I saw parts of this. No, I can't hear it. It has to be on your same browser that you're streaming from.
It is.
Oh, no, I can't hear it.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, this should be it. You can't hear it?
Mm-mm. I mean, I can read, but no.
Let me see if I can turn it up.
No.
You still can't hear it?
No, I cannot hear it. She says, I mean, I can read the purple line or blue or whatever that is.
Say what?
I can read the purple or blue.
Here, you know what? If you know how to do it, I will send it to you.
Okay.
And you can share it.
In private chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's private chat. I was wondering why it wasn't working.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Copy. And let me do this. Paste in Google. Do you hate America?
Do you hate America? He was in jail for 14 years.
Do you hate America? He would probably hate America.
And he this is the guy that they made the movie.
Can you see? Or you have to let me share. You have to give me permission.
Here we go.
Okay. Now tell me if you can hear.
Yo, listen to this.
Do you hate America?
No. You know, in fact, knowing many inmates, I figure out we're sharing way more common. Maybe America is very much similar. Look, it's the same size. They have it's the same kind of this. And when you talk to them, there is nothing there even to beef about. We are naturally, born not to be enemies. And whenever there's conflict, it's elites. Every, American I met in a prison who is from rural area was very easy to deal with. He has no problem with Russia, and he was curious about Russia, despite all propaganda. They're losing their Christian values. They're losing their families. They're losing literally their countries. It's not anymore the same country. We knew America, who used to be a model for entire world and lead and be an example, like they say, a shiny town on the, sparkling town on a hill. And this is, of course, pity. It was a strong country who was really a, industrial might, this one. And look, for 30, 40 years, deindustrialization, drug problem, crime waves. You can understand, and I feel more empathy to American after this experience than I would feel any hate.
What would you consider as the most important event of the years that you have spent in prison?
Which events? International?
Well, it doesn't matter. Maybe international.
2014.
Oh, okay. Why?
Well, I guess, would be in the history as a turning point. It's a turning point of Russia finally stand up on his knees, proud, strong.
14 years ago, when if you would have known that it's going to happen with you, I mean, you're going to spend 14 years away from your family, from your motherland, would you do something differently in your life?
It's difficult to live on the callings of your heart. But if you listen in your heart, yes, sometimes you get into trouble, but you never betrayed yourself. And this inner peace gives you enough strength to go through everything. Why? Because you don't have a conflict inside of you. Doesn't matter what. You have peace and tranquility because you trust in your heart. You trust in callings of your blood. You're trusting, and you're never fighting who you are.
Okay, man. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments. The reason,
and you're not going to find that interview. It's very hard to find that interview. Only reason I found it is the reaction channel. But it's hard to hear that from the Merchant of Death.
The Merchant of Death feels sorry for us.
Yeah, and for him to lay it, you can't. You want to be like, you shut up. Well, okay.
I mean, it's mostly true.
The
elites have sold out America to China. We're not an industrial country anymore.
No.
Americans don't want to go to work. That's part of the problem that they're seeing right now. People can't hire people because nobody wants to go to work.
When the Merchant of Death tells you that they're losing their country, they're not what they were.
That's why we're at the turning point right now. I mean, that's where we are at the destruction. The Jack, I always say his name wrong, but Posio Beck said, when there's for a great restoration, there's destruction first, and we're getting rid of the death of the dollar. The death of the Fed has to happen so that we can be free from it.
Jim said this, and this is something that this is another little piece about history that people don't talk about. First off, there wouldn't be slavery wouldn't have ended. The North would not have won if it wasn't for Mexico. People don't ever talk about that. That's not taught in history books. When we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, it's a day to get drunk. People don't know what it is. They're like, oh, it's kind of like Mexican Independence Day. It's the day that Mexico got their independence or fought back, but it's the day they saved the North and the day they defeated the South in our Civil War. Now, most people don't know that Spain allied itself with the South, and they were sending a massive amount of troops to professional soldiers. There were no professional soldiers in the South. It was all farmers and regular folks. They were fighting the North, which even by that time, there were so many people that died. There wasn't a lot of professional soldiers who had years of training or even months of training. So Spain was sending thousands and thousands of professional, blood-thirsty, badass soldiers. But they had an uprising in Mexico. So they said, hey, let's swing through Mexico. We'll squash this uprising, come up through Texas and come up through the South, bolster the South, and then we'll go up and wipe the North. They hit Mexico, and as usual, people fighting for freedom and their home did amazing things. It was like they killed 10 to 1. So they destroyed the Spanish army, and the Confederate army never got those reinforcements and fell. Nobody talks about. They don't teach that. Why? That's such a huge thing to me.
I'd never heard that.
It's. I think it's one of the biggest things. I mean, imagine, and that's another thing for other countries. And this is oh God, why are we? I want to talk about this other stuff. I had a plan, but you got me talking about all these tangents. So, the narrative for the past 250 years has been controlled. at the height. Everyone loved America. Everyone still likes America. They think we have problems, I think. But imagine if Mexico was able to share in that part of our history. And we appreciated them for what they did. And it would just make us like a lot closer.
Mhm.
Maybe their country could be a lot better off. But as when it comes to what Jim said about that Nostradamus said USA would join with the Great Bear, Russia. In the first war, the war for our independence, the Russian czars were huge. Catherine the Great was one of the biggest powers, if not the biggest power, in the British Empire. And England goes to war and says, "Hey, Russia, you need to help us with these upstart colonists." And Catherine the Great said, "No." And England was like, "What?" And she's like, "No, I kind of like the colonists. No." And then she's like, we're not gonna send troops or military aid. We'll help them, but we'll help them humanitarianly. But no, you're on your own, England." And they were pissed. England was pissed. So England then is fighting the war, losing, and they said, "Okay, Russia, look, you have to send 10,000 troops at least now, just 10,000. Not a huge thing. We need to bolster our forces. We're having a lot of trouble now, and we're demanding it. We're not asking it, demanding it." And then she said, "Well, since you're demanding it, no." And then they had lost they're losing here, but they lost there. And one of the reasons why they lost in Europe is because Catherine the Great in Russia embarrassed them and told them to screw off. So I think that's one of the main reasons why also World War II, we would all be speaking German now if it wasn't for Russia. For some reason, except for Russians, everyone forgets that. And they were went after mercilessly. They weren't treated as humans. I mean, Allied forces, well, they were Allied forces. See, I just did it. American, British, all that. They were treated by the Germans as prisoners of war. All Russian soldiers weren't. They weren't treated as prisoners of war. They went to the concentration camps. They didn't go to prisoner of war camps. They were not considered human. So, and we were always aligned with Germany. We've always been aligned with England since we, won independence. But I think the narrative has always been to push us as far away from Russia as possible. And then we needed them for World War II. They jumped in. We beat, and literally the day we beat Hitler, pretty much, we started, of course, Stalin, it was one of the most evil, if not evilest person there was. But then that was the end of it. The wall even went up, a physical wall through Germany. But the narrative has always been to push us away from Russia for the past couple hundred years, ever since Catherine the Great did that. And that's one thing that Trump said that was, to me, it was shocking. Because it was just common sense. He's like, Russia's huge, powerful. They have resources and people. Why would we not want to be friends with them? Why would you want to have them as an adversary? He poses a question. Wouldn't you want to have good trade and friendly relations with them? They got nuclear weapons. We have nuclear weapons. Why would you want to be at odds with them or enemies with them? And it was such a common sense thing. And he said so many just common sense truths. Like, the system is corrupt. The system is terrible. You're corrupt. And it's like, how do you know that? He's like, because I used it. I use the corrupt system all the time. I did this, I did that. I got out of, it's like, you didn't pay your taxes. He goes, yeah, and you made the tax laws so that I could do that. I mean, he was just so,
don't hate the player, hate the game.
He would blatantly call it out where people wouldn't do that. And if you're one of those people, you can't argue with that. And the political game. You're used to saying, hey, this guy is a bad guy because this guy did this. And he said, yeah, I did it, but you made it so I could do that. It's not illegal. I didn't do anything,
Mhm.
So it was a huge thing that really pissed them off, because he was able to expose like what they're doing, which most people couldn't ever have done before, because they're part of that machine. They can't kind of talk about how broken the machine is, but they do. Like, Biden's been in office for longer than I've been alive,
Yeah,
and he
it's
can say,
insane.
hey, everything's messed up, everything's broken, and Trump even said it in his debate with him. He's like, yeah, you've been here for 50 years and you haven't fixed anything. Everything's broken, and you're the one that's been, running.
Well, it's like Fauci being involved in, our health system, and Jim's talking about cleaning out the bioweapon stuff in Ukraine. Now they're saying there's those anthrax bioweapon stuff that they're cleaning out in Ukraine that the Fauci is involved in, that we've been funding, that now they have proof of.
Speaking of proof,
So,
let's get into what I want to talk about.
let's get
Balenciaga.
into it.
So, everyone knows what they've done, what Balenciaga did. If you can look up, I saw like Rosie O'Donnell and all these articles now are talking about how they need to pay for their bad decision. And not for what they did, for their bad decision for not checking on something. First off, this is impossible. If you're talking about that level of advertisement, there's so many people involved, so many professionals, that
They had to approve that.
Every inch it had to be approved 20 million times. But then there's other brands, and this is where it gets kind of crazy, because Adidas let that pass. Not that shouldn't have happened. Adidas should have been like, whoa, what? Well, no, we're not going to be connected with this. Adidas wants mainstream.
Well, that's what there's video of Disney behind the scenes talking about their agenda, individuals saying like, well, now we can get this woke agenda stuff.
That's not
pushed up.
That's individuals. I'm talking about, this is big stuff. I'm talking about the big scale. So the fact that I'm by Adidas or Adidas is surprising to me, because Balenciaga came out there.
But it was started by a Nazi
their new fall line. No,
Adidas was.
That's all nothing. That doesn't mean anything. All of this that's so little compared to what I'm trying to talk about. I'm talking about big picture. Okay. So, I don't know if Adidas was started by Nazis, but
yeah,
or Adidas. So Balenciaga came out with this new line, the new fall line, very dark, very gritty, very industrial, right? That's not what they're putting in their ads. It's the stuff on their runway shows and things like that. Because what they're going to put in their ads is more mainstream for everybody. They're $700 Adidas t-shirts. They're $900 t-shirts. Okay, so that's the stuff's all bright and mainstream.
Somebody has too much money if you're paying $700 for a shirt.
Yeah, just a regular Adidas. I mean, it just says Adidas. It's a Adidas t-shirt for $700. Go to the website and look. That's what it is.
That's insane.
So, but it has to get by so many people that look at it. Remember in the old days, like a photographer, they had a little like eyepiece, like a jeweler would, but it was bigger, and they would like go over the picture.
Yeah,
now they don't do that. They can just tap it and zoom in. People went over every inch of this picture. Multiple people on multiple levels, in multiple approvals. So they're trying to say that it was like, oh, this guy just set it up and he hoodwinked us, bamboozled us, just set that stuff up, and we did. No, it didn't happen. And then what has happened now is Balenciaga is a big corporation. They make bajillions of dollars, but they're owned by a holding company that owns a lot of other big names. They're pissed because it's affecting their money and their stockholders. And that's like that's the Illuminati kind of There's only like I think 7 holding companies in the world, and they hold like 90% of all the companies. It's like it's insane.
Kind of like the media thing only has
So
6
they
or
own the
whatever.
media company.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're
This is
talking,
even a step over that.
yeah, like
Okay.
Aegon, American General. They own hundreds of banks each, thousands maybe, insurance companies, like big corporations that you think are huge, are owned by these holding companies. But anyway, the reason why would they do this? Why would other things that have come out that are shocking? Why would they do that? And everyone says, "Oh, they're arrogant. Oh, they want to hide in plain sight." Haven't you ever heard it? That's not it, dude. Now you got to go back to the picture. You know the tape where it says Balenciaga, but it's spelled ball.
Yeah.
Balenciaga. So ball,
Mhm.
it's a arch
Satanic or
archdemon.
whatever.
Like there's archangels. There's archangels. There's archdemons. And the people say it's crazy that there's some kind of cabals and people worship the devil. And you can't really say that it's crazy when there's just so much out there in your face. So when you look at symbolism, and not just no, I don't want to say symbolism. When you look at symbols that people you probably don't even really think about. I want to show you just some stuff. Just so
you can go to the FBI website and they have like
so
their
you know
symbols.
what you're surrounded by. So
Public and I did this a couple of years ago on the show. I got to turn my heater on for a reason. Hold on.
So this is the Tubal Cain symbol for the Masonic Tubal Cain. Tubal was the son of Cain, and he was the first metal worker. But he was the son of Cain from Adam and Eve. That was this guy. And this is their symbol. If you look at these, they look like a 2, 3, 4, and a thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a thumb. Those look like thumbs ups. And that looks like an F.
Or a hockey stick, too.
It looks like a Facebook, dude. Look at that. That's a Facebook.
Oh.
And those are the thumbs up. It's even in the circle. And a lot of these are being changed now. They're starting to change them.
Oh, gosh. There's Google's email thing.
That's Gmail. And I always thought this was weird. I didn't see the mail first. The first time I saw it. And even every now and then, I don't see the. When's the last time you sent an envelope that looked like that? Even for Christmas cards, they don't. Every email since the beginning of email has been a regular little envelope. And this just looks weird. Always looked weird to me.
Oh.
This is the Masonic imprint.
Wow.
Little bit odd. A lot of stuff when you're talking about Google and tech, massive stuff with tech. This is the sigil of Satan. This is one someone uses for a. So if you see this on a car, you know what is that? That's the sigil of Satan. That person is a devil worshiper, and they're putting it out there. It is a triangle made up of 4 triangles. Okay, so for this to just accidentally happen, like, hey man, let's make a symbol for our clothing line or our soda. We're gonna make it this. Let's make it a triangle. Those are cool, right? Yeah, like triangle. I like Egypt. But let's make a triangle made out of 4 triangles. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of someone saying we're gonna make a triangle out of 4 triangles for our logo? Next to nothing. But what are the odds of making a logo that are a triangle made out of 4 triangles in this exact pattern? That would be impossible. So this is it. If you turn it on its side,
oh my gosh,
it's in the same pattern. So why is this though? Why is that? Is it because they're bold? Is it because they're,
no, it's
they're hiding?
So these things, are like, they do work, or they have energy. They do magic for them. They're tools.
That is a good point. But here's the reason why, when it comes, because everyone's asking why Balenciaga would do this. The thing is, with Satanists, with those people, they do believe in karmatic retribution.
Yes.
They believe that can happen. So let's say now someone goes to, let's say I am broke, but for Christmas I'm going to buy my son a Balenciaga shirt. I take all my money and I go to Balenciaga knowing everything that's happening. And I put that money down. I am willfully supporting this now, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they do things behind the scenes, if it's all quiet, you don't know. So you could say, hey, you scammed me. You made me participate in this. You made me part of this. And I never would have been part of this. But if you put out that picture, and if it just went out and there was a little bit of outcry, or this is weird, and people still bought it, they go, hey, we did, but we told you what we were about. It's right here. Here is the sigil. The symbol is our sigil of Satan. What do you think? Now, remember when I told you I was trying to think about things in terms of, like, explaining it to like an alien,
Mm-hmm.
or looking at things through history's eye? Like, how could they not see that this was a terrible idea? How did they not see what was going on? This is how they are. So they think. When Epstein came out, we all know what the Clintons have done. When no one's doing anything, because no one's doing anything. I mean, doing anything. I mean, making shit happen that I can't say on YouTube.
Right.
Then we're complicit. We are. If nobody rises up, if no one stands up because they think they'll get canceled, or think you get arrested, or think what, then we're part of it, man. If no one stands up and says this is wrong, why isn't anything happening every day, until something happens, then it's true. That's what gives them the power, because they're like, hey, we told you. What more do you want? It's not like the information said, especially with the internet and how easy it is to find this information. They can put out whatever they want, and they have no more karmatic retribution, because they put it all out for all to see. Is the Android store being changed? Is the Apple store what is being changed?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Super obvious. This is the sign of the divine king. Remember, we looked at CERN and all that with this number 6.
Yeah.
Turn it
Mm-hmm.
number 6. This is the sign of the divine king, of Satan. 666.
That's chrome. Wow.
It's right up in your corner, most likely. It's just those things are they're everywhere.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's not even. I mean, it's like not even like. Well, I guess it could be. Come on.
Yeah. No, it's obvious. Blatant.
So I just
more reason, I mean, to support things like library, Dragon Chain. We've got to build other things and then use those.
Yeah. But I think people need to realize what it is.
And call it out like you're doing.
And call it out. And then just because the simple question is why? Why did you choose that symbol? I mean, it's a very, you could see the Gmail, you could get away with that and say, well, it's just it's an envelope that we made an M for mail. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Apple store, there's no common sense there. The Facebook thing you could get away with and just say it's extreme. I wish there was more statisticians anytime anything happens, I wish we could go to someone or go to a program
And say, what are the odds of
type in the
this?
numbers. So you could say,
Mhm.
what would it be to be considered impossible?
I think that's what Jim Willie did, right? That's his specialty.
That's something I think we do. What are the chances that somebody came, let's start a company, I'm going to call it Facebook, let's choose blue and white color scheme, put the F in the middle of a circle, and use a thumbs up. What are the chances that that happening? But the Facebook you could dismiss that, but you can't dismiss the Android store. It's a store, and has the Masonic symbol. There's no reason for that. The Google Chrome, you'd have to answer that question. Why did you choose this? What was the idea behind it? Where did it come from? I would like that explained. Like the Google GPS, the little matte dot, it's supposed to be like the eye of providence, or the all-seeing eye. But the Google Play Store, that's the sigil of Satan. I mean, it's like not. You can't. Just explain to me how you created a triangle made of 4 triangles in that specific pattern.
Well, they do it for, I mean, it's like a grid, or like the same way they use sacred geometry, or these things it's almost like a portal, or the symbolism, like it has power, and that's why they use it. They do it on purpose.
Now, that's a deep rabbit hole, though. You start going down that stuff, and like what the numbers mean, like the PlayStation. Why did you pick those numbers? That's because that means a person. What is it? A person. Person is what? Triangle.
I don't know.
Circle, triangle, and square. Circle's head, triangle body, square's the lower part. Water, fire, earth, and I think X is action. So it's like a person taking action. So that's what like the PlayStation stuff means. But that's what it means. Like they've never said that, but that makes sense, and that's what the geometry and the symbolism for that. So I would like someone to call them out, and for them to just say, well, this is why we chose that. Frank is a Satanist, and he brought it up, and we liked the picture. That maybe we didn't know Frank was a Satanist, and we already committed to it. So we're like, okay, that's the only thing, and still that would be no.
Yeah,
be like, hey,
not
man,
buying it.
That's the sigil for Satan. Oh, we should change that. Yeah, we should change that now that we know that.
Yeah. Well, like I've been on projects before, and there were, images or logos brought up, and something came up, and I was like, oh, that looks like a pitchfork. And they're like, oh, no, it's like a flow chart. And I was like, no, it looks like a pitchfork. And so like, we didn't go with that.
If you're creating a logo and you're a big corporation, if you're using, and there's agency, there's people that know what that's their job. They're like, oh, you need to steer away from this. I mean, you could be like a Hindu person who lives, in a small village out in the middle of nowhere, and you could literally think swastikas mean like peace and love, because you never had a TV in your village, you don't know, and they're like, oh no, that means something totally different now. They're like, really? Well, this is the ancient symbol for peace and love or what? It's like, yes, one guy kind of co-opted that. Well, okay, at least we got those Christians got the rainbow, right? Well, not anymore. That means something different too. So, yeah. Well, at least I can be gay and happy with my family, right? No, not anymore. That means something different now too. That word's gone. So, even if someone doesn't know, there's people that do know, and they would correct them right away. Yes, word, please smash the like button. Really, really appreciate it. And I guess that is it. We've been going a long time. Thanks for coming, doing this later.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't go get
No,
your Christmas present today.
I'm making yours.
Cool.
I have something planned. So
I made yours and I never sent it. I wonder if I could send it
really,
with this. Because I have to go pick up it. I was going to have it sent to you, but I don't know about the legality of that. So
you said that before. I'm curious.
I had it sent to me. And then I was going to give it to you, but I don't even know about the legality of that. So when I
You could
send
just
it,
come see me.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. So I'm going to have it sent to you. And I know that's legal.
Okay.
But you got to go get it. I can't go to your house.
Okay.
I got to go to a place.
I'm probably coming your way in March.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It'd be too long. But anyway, it's cool. You like it.
Okay.
But I was wondering if I
I'll
could
talk
put
to
in
Johnny.
something. I made you fridge magnets because I know you hate fridge
Oh
magnets.
my God, don't make me refrigerator magnets. I won't put them on my fridge.
I bought Litecoins. And then I
Oh.
put magnets behind the Litecoin so you can literally have Litecoin fridge magnets.
I don't know where I'll put them. Not
Yeah.
on my refrigerator.
I thought it was hilarious because you'd be like, oh, I hate these, but I want to use them because they look so good. Oh, jeez.
You're so.
Like, okay, it's art. It's not a fridge magnet. It's fine.
It is art. I'll put it in my office somewhere. Yeah, I
Anyway,
gotta
it's
get
metal.
a new table.
You could stick it on the microphone just because it's magnetic.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. Anywhere.
Now I know what you got me. You didn't
What?
surprise me. A Litecoin magnet.
That was last year. I just never sent it. No, I got you a rose gold shotgun. Yeah, that's what I got you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, you have rose gold.
Now I know. Yeah. You're so funny. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, thanks for doing the show with me later. I'm
Yep.
glad we could work this out.
Hopefully.
I know you had a crazy day. So,
Yeah, hopefully next week we can be on time and all good.
yeah. And next week, something is the 20th. I have the 20th, like, I have a star around it. So, that's going to be a big day. I don't know why, but and winter solstice is the next day. I don't know why. Lots of news today, though. Lots of news coming out. Lots of good stuff. So if you guys didn't see the first half of the show, jump back over to my channel and watch the first half, please. And make sure you give a like here and give a comment afterwards because Sean does great giveaways and stuff.
Yep, so you're registered to win.
Make sure.
Oh, it's not. YouTube didn't hit me for views. I had like 1,000 views or so just drop off. Like every few days more. It went from
Why is that?
our last show went from like 1,900 down to 1,500, down to 1,000, down to 9, down to like 300. Now it's down to like 70. Every few days it drops more. It's down to 70 views now. The meme review before the last one, the one they took off that I got put back on, it was like 300 something. When I reposted or got it put back on, it went up to 1,000.
I shared that one with Gockstein because he was asking, like, what's your favorite meme? And so I was like, oh, I love.
And it went down to 700, and now it's back down to 300 something.
That makes no sense.
None at all. All right. Love y'all. Remember to comment.
Take care.
See you guys.
See you.